Okay, hello everyone. So we're going to be working into the upper body today, neck, shoulders, and into the jawline, into the TMJ. So what I need you to do is from the very beginning of the practice, start to focus on relaxing this space. We have chronic tension in the neck and jaw area, and this is exacerbated in times of stress or in times of heavy exercise. And one way to know that you're creating tension is by paying attention to what your tongue is doing. If your tongue sticks to the roof of your mouth, that is a sign that there is tension in the jaw. So we're going to be constantly relaxing the tongue away from the roof of the mouth today, and working into a few different exercises and stretches will help to release this area in general. So we're going to start with your rolled up mat, or if you don't have a mat, just roll up a towel, and you're going to place it so that it's about an elbow's length away from the top of your mat. Making your way to lie down on your mat or towel so that the shoulders are above the mat and it's touching right at the base of the shoulder blades. You're going to bring your arms out into a T shape, and then you can choose to either keep the knees bent depending on how the lower back feels, or you can straighten the legs into Shavasana, or if you feel like you want to engage into the hips as well, you can bring the feet into Konasana. And then just shift yourself around until you feel that you're in the right space. Little micro adjustments, a few centimeters this way or that way, can make all the difference to getting the best out of this pose. You want to feel that the heart is opening, that the chest is opening, and that the shoulders are relaxing to the floor. So be mindful of what's happening in the neck and shoulders. And close your eyes here if you haven't done so already. And now bring some awareness to the jaw. Allow the teeth to just slightly separate. The lips can remain closed, it's up to you. And release your tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Connect your relaxing Ujjayi breath into the area around the face, the jaw, the throat and neck. And just feel as though you're softening any tension you're feeling in these spaces. Very slightly lifting the corners of the mouth, not into a full smile, but also almost into like a pre-smile. A serene expression on your face. Allow your torso to completely surrender, becoming heavy and relaxed over the support of your prop. Taking 2 more rounds of breath. from here, you're going to make your way into a seated position. If the knees are in Konasana, draw the legs together first. And you can press into the elbows, bringing the chin to the chest as you lift up. Pressing the hands into the floor, making your way up to sit. And then coming into a cross-leg position. You're now going to sit onto your towel or your mat. And then sit slightly forward so that you feel as though the sitting bones are just lightly gripping into the mat. You're going to feel how this creates a anterior tilt. So the hips are tilting slightly forward at the top here. And that's going to create a little bit of an arch into the back. You want a gentle arch, but just slightly reduce it so that it's not exaggerated. And then you'll find as you do that, the rest of the spine suddenly lifts up and feels elongated. Practicing with the jaw parallel to the floor, so being very aware of your neck alignment today. On the inhale breath, we're going to float the hands out to the sides. Turn the palms to face forward, and then reach your shoulder blades away from one another. You're now going to turn the palms to face back, and now draw the shoulder blades in. Be gentle as you do this. We're going to inhale and exhale with this movement. Try not to place too much tension into the space between the shoulder blades. If you do have very tight traps or tight rotator cuffs, you could inflame it if you are too intense. So it's just a gentle releasing movement. And then start to make the twists bigger and bigger until you're completely rotating the palms one way and then completely rotating them the other way. Elbows are soft. Try not to lock into the joints. And you should feel there's a very gentle cat-cow-like movement happening just into the shoulder blades. Connect with your breath. One more, and then soften the hands back down to the mat. Start to drop one ear towards the shoulder. Lift the spine tall and let the head drop a bit deeper. Let's exhale, chin to chest. And draw the shoulder blades back and away. Inhale to the other side. Still finding that upright spine and reaching into the neck. Dropping chin to chest and back to center. On the inhale breath, take the hands overhead. Interlocking fingers, turning the palms to face up. And again here, you don't need to lock those elbows. You can soften them. Feel the shoulder blades soften. And then reaching over to one side. Make sure the neck is in a comfortable space here. Come back to center and over to the other side. If turning the chin up doesn't work for you, then look down towards your thighs. And back to center. Keeping the fingers interlocked, bring the hands now behind the head. And gently start to push your head into your hands, push your hands into your head, and then release. And then again, pushing head and hands together, lifting the chest, and then release. One more time, pushing head and hands together. And then release, bringing the hands back down to the mat. Lifting the spine up tall, exhale to twist. Lightly pressing your front hand against your opposite knee. Grow the spine tall, relax the shoulders, keep the chin parallel and more or less in line with your sternum. Inhale to center and over to the other side. And inhale to center. Rolling over now onto hands and knees. and you're going to bring your mat or towel in front of you, so just behind the hands. Let's flow through a few rounds of cat-cow pose, moving at your own pace. And just checking in that the jaw is still soft, your tongue is releasing away from the mouth. Coming back into a neutral spine, we're going to work into a modified puppy pose or melting heart. So with the mat underneath the chest, you want to try and lower your chest plate to the mat, dropping the head to the floor. If you have shoulder issues and coming into puppy pose is not appropriate for you, then you're going to bring one hand onto your mat or your towel, walk yourself back a little bit, and then lower your head to the hand. And then you will of course switch the hands after a few breaths. Breathing deeply into the space. Relaxing the shoulders and drawing the shoulder blades together. On your inhale breath, walk yourself back up, coming back into the tabletop, and then slide it back into child's pose, bringing the hands next to the hips. Relaxing the spine, there was a deep arch in the melting heart pose, and we're just going to release that space. And then moving in towards rabbit. So you're now going to hold onto the heels, draw the heels together, tuck chin to chest, lifting the hips up to the sky. Head is very lightly touching the floor, and you're feeling those shoulder blades opening away. You're rounding that upper back. Make sure there's no heavy weight on the head and neck. And then gently releasing back down. Sliding yourself forward. You can move your prop out the way as you make your way into downward facing dog. And let's spend a bit of time in down dog now. Heel toe the legs, stretching out the toes, the ankles, the Achilles tendon on the back of the ankle, up the gastrocnemius of the calves, and into the hamstrings at the back of the leg. Lifting the tailbone up and back so it's flicking towards the sky to help lengthen into the spine. And you can keep heel toeing the legs if that feels appropriate. If you'd like to, you can keep the legs still. And we just shift the energy now into the neck as you lift your head up, looking between the thumbs, and then exhale, drawing the chin all the way to the chest. Inhale, looking up between the thumbs, and exhale, chin all the way to the chest. One more time, looking forward, push the hands into the floor, exhale back, chin to chest. Turning the gaze now underneath one arm, back to center, underneath the other arm. Keep flowing from side to side, and as you do this, keep those shoulders pushing back. Arms are strong, and you're lifting the chest towards the thighs. Coming back to center, either walking hands to feet or feet to hands, and making your way into ragdoll. Bend your knees deeply, interlocking the hands around the elbows, and then gently swaying from side to side. Really focus on releasing and relaxing.
softening the jaw, softening the tongue. Even smooth the skin around your forehead and around your skull. Come to center, release the hands down, bending knees as you roll yourself up, pressing heavily into the heels to feel as though you are repelling the spine up. And then making your way into Tadasana at the front of your mat. Let's bring the hands next to the hips. Find that neutral spine by lifting pubic bone and drawing the rib cage slightly in. Shoulders are softening next to the ears. Fingers nice and active. On the inhale breath, float the hands to the sky. Opening the elbows into cactus. Drawing the hands behind the back, interlocking fingers. Roll the shoulder blades together as you join the palms closer and closer. Start to reach the hands down towards the heels without arching the back. Exhale to lower your chin to your chest. And then start to melt the body as you soften the knees, forward folding, keeping the clasp in the hands. Relax your head and your arms over the back of the body, melting the spine. You can drop the hands to the mat, inhaling into flat back. Hands to the shins or the tips of the fingers. Exhale to forward fold, hands to the floor or the back of the ankles. On the inhale breath, stepping the right leg back into lunge, sinking the hips low as you lift open through the chest. Let's keep the right hand down as you float left arm up into a twist. Neutral spine from tail to head. Check where the jaw is. Is it in the right space? Let's exhale the hand down to the mat and dropping the knee to the floor. On the inhale, bring your hands to the front thigh, lifting up tall, and then starting to straighten the elbows as you push your chest away from the thighs. Lift into pubic bone and lengthen into lumbar. On the inhale breath, floating the hands up to the sky into crescent. Inhale the hands behind the back, interlocking fingers and rolling the shoulder blades together. Reaching your fingertips towards your heels, coming into a gentle back bend. Be mindful not to go too far and keep the neck in a neutral spine. Let's inhale the hands up to the sky and exhale the hands to the mat. You're going to make your way back into downward facing dog, lifting the back knee and stepping into down dog. If you still want a heel toe, please feel free. If you want to hold into stillness, then work into that space. You're now going to lift up onto the tips of your toes. Bend your knees as you slide your hips up and back, deeply stretching into the back muscles. Turn the gaze between the hands, looking at the thumb, and then exhale, tuck your chin all the way to the chest. Inhale, gazing between the thumbs, and then you're going to take little steps, walking yourself forward into flat back, straightening the spine as you go. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, taking hands all the way up to the sky. Finding neutral spine, lifting into core. Inhale, cactus, and turn the palms to face up. Interlocking your hands behind your back and switch the fingers around so the less comfortable finger is on top. Roll the shoulder blades tightly together, lifting the chest without arching the lower back. Let's now bring the chin to the chest and then softening the knees as you forward fold. Dropping hands to the mat, inhale, lifting halfway up, flat back. Heavy into the balls of the feet, light into the heels. As you exhale, stepping your left leg into lunge, sinking the hips as you lift open through the heart. Easy twist, right hand to the sky. Find that neutral alignment in the spine and rotate around the center core. Let's exhale the hand to the mat and dropping the back knee down. Inhale, hands onto the front thigh. Working now into hip flexors and psoas as you slide the hips forward and open up through the chest. Float your hands up, crescent lunge, and then drawing the hands together behind the back as you roll the shoulder blades together. Drop the chin towards the chest, and you don't have to push the chin down creating tension. It can just be a light drop, relaxing into the traps. Let's inhale the hands back up, exhale to the mat and making your way into downward facing dog. Lift your back knee and stepping back. Again, you can heel toe if you like or hold into stillness. We're now going to rotate the gaze underneath one arm, underneath your opposite arm. And back to center, lifting onto the tips of the toes. Bend your knees as you slide your hips up and back. Deeply stretch into that mid and upper back, turning the gaze forward and taking little steps to the front of the mat. Lifting your heart flat back and exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweeping hands up to the sky. Let's exhale straight back down, forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway up, flat back. And exhale to fold. You're going to step or hop yourself into downward facing dog. Breathing into this space. On your inhale breath, floating the right leg to the sky. Let's open the hip to the side of the mat. Reach those toes up and back. You're gazing underneath your right arm, making sure the neck is relaxed. Let's square the hip again, facing forward, and then step your foot in between the hands into lunge. Engage into the core muscles and now roll the spine up into high lunge. Floating hands to the sky. You're very welcome to drop the back knee down if you prefer to hold in your low lunge. Let's open up through the chest and then coming into eagle arms, left elbow underneath the right. Float the elbows to the sky, gently push the hands away, and breathe into the space. From here, open up the elbows, opening up the arms, and we're going to shift into warrior two. So facing the side of your mat, adjust the alignment of your feet so the front heel lines up with the back arch of the foot. Slide the knees away from one another. You're going to take your back hand and bring it to the back of the skull. Lightly push your head against your hand and reach your fingers forward. Inhale to extend the back hand again, and then coming into reclining warrior. from here, cartwheeling the hands down to the inside of your foot. Rotate onto the toes of the back foot and heel toe your front foot all the way to the edge of the mat, so that the heel is on the mat and the toes are on the floor. Drop the back knee down. And depending how you feel, you can either just walk the hands forward and relax the neck, or you can drop down to your elbows. So a lot of neck and jaw tension is actually associated with tension in the hips. They directly correlate with one another, and often we're trying to treat the symptom and not the cause. On your inhale breath, walk your hands back in under the shoulders, and we're going to shift this now into a pigeon pose. So I like to lift my back knee up. I find it gives me space. You might want to keep it down. You just kind of curl that front leg in so that your shin is now crossing the mat and sliding the back foot a little bit further back. Lifting open through the chest, opening the heart. We're going to take 3 rounds of lion's breath here. So that's an inhale through the nose, and then you exhale as forcefully as you can, and you stick your tongue out to try and touch your chin. At the same time, lift the eyes up and squint them together. So bringing chin to chest, let's inhale. Inhale, chin down. One more. And then back to center. Lowering the elbows to the floor. For more intensity, bring your toes forward. For less intensity, move your toes back. And I'm going to make little fists with your hands and lower your forehead to the fists. Really relax your jaw here. Feel as though it is separating from the skull. Relax your cheeks. Relax your lips. Relax your tongue. Feel as though you have a wobbly face, just like a basset hound or a bloodhound. If you were to jiggle your face from side to side, you get those rollipping, sloppy sounds like you do in a hound. Let's inhale, lifting back up to center. And then coming to sit into your front hip. You're going to bend the back leg. You can either just bend it, keep the hands on the floor, or use your towel or a strap around the foot. Or if you've got a bit more space, you can hold onto the foot. And just slowly releasing into that back quad. The quads are very tight for a lot of people. Notice what happens when you increase the intensity. Does your jaw lock? Does your neck lock? Trying to break the habitual patterns of stress entering into neck, shoulders and jaw. And then slowly releasing from there. You're going to make your way back into your downward facing dog. Again, you can take a few breaths here. If you'd like to take any movement, feel free. If you'd like to hold into stillness, then find that space. Let's take the left leg to the sky on an inhale. And then opening the hip as high as you can, turn your gaze underneath your left arm. So make sure that your hands and your remaining foot are still in down dog alignment. And then you're twisting the chest, twisting the hip, and the neck is gently following. On your inhale, square yourself off, and then exhale the foot in between the hands. Inhale, roll up into high lunge. Floating the hands to the sky. Come into eagle arms, bringing right elbow underneath left. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears, lift the elbows. And then from here, we're making our way into warrior two. So you open the arms, opening the stance, and realigning yourself for Varipa Karani, B. Sit into the legs, shift your alignment and your intention downward for a moment. And then bringing the back hand onto the skull, cupping the head, push your head into your hand, push your hand into your head, and reach your left fingers forward. Straightening the back arm and making your way into reclining warrior. From here, cartwheeling the hands to the inside of the foot, rotating onto the toes of the back foot and heel toe the back leg until the heel is on the mat and the toes are on the floor. Dropping your back knee down, and you can choose to stay here if you're feeling that's enough, or you can just walk the hands forward, let your head drop, that may be enough, or maybe you want to lower your elbows to the floor for your full lizard lunge. Start to connect into how this side is different to the other side. Feel Ujjayi breath. Let's inhale to walk the hands back in, and we're taking this now into the pigeon pose. So if you'd like to, you can tuck the back toe, lift the knee off the floor, and then sweep the front leg forward so the shin diagonally crosses the mat. Slide your back foot a little bit further back, and you're going to come up. So if your lower back is quite tight, the hands will be flat. If you've got a bit more space, you can come onto the fingertips. You might even be able to bring your hand onto your knee and your foot, so you're getting a nice upright alignment into that lower back. Just be mindful of what the SI joints are doing. And 3 rounds of lion's breath, Simhasana. Slowly releasing down onto your elbows. And then you're going to stack the hands again. Try to stack them the opposite way. So if you had the right hand on the bottom last time, bring the left hand to the bottom this time. Lowering your forehead to the hands. And now really work in relaxing the jaw. The teeth are separate. The tongue is released from the mouth. The jaw, your cheek, Even your lips are feeling heavy, wobbly, jelly-like.
And then slowly making your way back up to sit. You're going to sit into your front hip. And depending on how tight these quads are feeling, you can either just bend that back knee, that might be enough, or hold onto the foot. Use a towel or a strap if the hand doesn't comfortably touch it. If you can hold onto that leg, you just gradually bring the heel in towards the side of the glute, so not towards the spine but rather towards the hip. Don't roll the knee too wide, keep it in a neutral space. And just connect into how the body responds to tension. Soften, release, and relax that tension away. And then gently releasing the back leg down and swing it forwards to come and sit on your mat. So bring the feet in front of you. You're now going to sit onto your rolled up mat or towel. So want the hips just slightly lifted, and then edge yourself forward so you're getting that tilt into the hip bones again. And really, it doesn't have to be very high. We don't need a high pillow. We're just trying to create that alignment of tilting the hip bones slightly forward. So take it into Paschimottanasana, forward folding. Hands can come to the shins, the ankles, to the side of the floor. They don't have to reach the toes, that's not important. Take a nice big inhale breath, and then exhale to fold the body towards the feet. So not towards the knees, but extending forward. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath, and then coming back up to sit. Lifting into Dandasana, focus on what's happening into the neck here. Just check that there's no tension, little gentle roll from side to side. Turn the gaze from one side to the other, and as you do this, you're creating softness and release. So now we've stretched out the erector spinae in our Paschimottanasana. We're now going to activate into these back muscles. So you're going to swing your legs behind you, coming to lie on your tummy. So often a tightness in the neck and shoulders and the jaw is because the back muscles aren't as strong as they could be. So we're going to work into a series of Shalambhasana, locust pose. For the first round, keep your hands on the floor. And you're going to press your pubic bone into the mat. As you inhale, lift the head up. But you keep the gaze at the floor. Press the back of your hands firmly into the mat and reach your toes back, keeping the feet on the floor. So it's just the chest that's lifting. You should feel deeply working into those erector spinae, which are the muscles either side of your spine. One more breath. Let's lower down. Same movement. Inhale to lift up. And we're going to be dynamic now. So exhale down. Inhale up. Strong legs. One more time. Inhale up.
And now this time float the hands off the floor. Engage into triceps. Hold here for a few breaths. And then let's release down, head and hands. Inhale, lifting head and hands. Flowing with your own pace. One more. And now let's lift head, hands and legs. Still keeping that gaze at the floor. You're going to lift and hold for a few breaths. And then dynamically lift and lower 3 times. One more. And release. Child's pose. And you can choose whether you want your knees together or the knees wide according to what feels most comfortable for your back. But I suggest you bring your hands next to your hips so that you can relax these shoulders. You can always stack your hands under the forehead if that feels best. Let's breathe into those spinal muscles. They worked quite hard there. You should have felt it mostly in the mid-back, not too much in the lower back, and maybe around the shoulder blades as well. The neck should feel released because the head was dropping down to the floor and not lifting up. There should be no tension in the neck. From here, roll yourself up to sit and swing your legs out in front of you. So we're going to work into some Varipa Karani, which is lifting the legs to the sky. I'm going to give you a couple of different options depending on what suits your body. So you may want to just watch me before you come into the pose yourself. So the least intense variation of Varipa Karani is to have the lower back flat and to take the legs straight up to the sky. And then you'll hold here into an active lower belly, massaging the spine. If you'd like to go a bit deeper, you can then take your mat underneath your sacrum. So you feel stable. It's not in the lower back, but underneath the pelvis rather. And then again, you can lift the legs up. This is often more relaxing for the lower back, more relaxing for the hip flexors. The slight lift of the hip disengages the space, and this can feel quite nice. If you want to go further than this and you'd like to go into your shoulder stand, then you're going to do that by moving through your halasana first. So we'll bring the feet overhead. Walk the shoulder blades tightly together, hands onto the lower back, and then you can lift one leg at a time or both legs up. And in your shoulder stand, you're pressing weight into your elbows, not your neck, and you're trying to straighten your front body. So choosing a posture that works for you this morning. Varipa Karani A, Varipa Karani B with the mat, or coming into Sarvangasana, your shoulder stand. If you have a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders, I suggest you skip shoulder stand and do the Varipa Karani with the mat underneath the hips. Let's take another few deep breaths here. So if you're in either Varipa Karani, you're going to bring knees to chest Move the mat out from underneath you and hold in your Upasana, your knees to chest. If you're in your shoulder stand, we're going to lower the feet over the head into Halasana, which is our plow pose. Bring your hands to the mat and slowly unwind, one spine at a time. Use your hands as brakes, lowering back down, and again you can also bring your knees to your chest. So everyone should be in Upasana. From Upasana, we're going to take us into a gentle twist. Arms to the side and drop both knees to the mat. You can turn your gaze away. Maybe it feels nice to bring your hand onto the thighs to create a bit more weight. Let's return to the center on an inhale and over to the other side on an exhale. Let's return to the center, and we're going to make our way into Shavasana, but you're going to place your mat or your towel underneath the back of your head. So you'll feel where you come up the neck and then you get those knobbly bits, the occipital condyles at the back of the skull. You want that to rest lightly onto your prop. You can keep the knees bent if the lower back feels that that's comfortable, or you can straighten the legs if you feel that is comfortable. And now you're going to take your heel of your hand and lightly press your forehead. Press your forehead against the heel of your hand. And now take the heel of the hand into your right jaw. Push your hand against your jaw. Push your jaw against your hand. And now take the bottom jaw and push it even further. Releasing, coming to the other side, the heel of the hand against the jaw. Push the skull against your hand against your skull, and then push your bottom jaw even further. And back to center. Releasing now. Soft jaw. Soft tongue. And even feel as though there's space opening between your teeth. slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Running your thumb over the tips of your fingers, moving your toes, ankles and wrists, drawing your feet together and extending your arms overhead, taking a deep energizing stretch as you yawn or sigh. Bending your knees and rolling onto the side of your mat. You can use your pillow, your mat or your towel as a pillow. On your inhale breath, lifting yourself into a comfortable seated position. Take a moment to connect into your alignment. Feel how your alignment is naturally more upright, better situated with less tension. Let's draw the hands together at your heart center. And we'll chant the mantra Om Monsoon Shanti 3 times, taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, and to your mat, bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking eyes open, inhaling to lift. Namaste.